Hello, everybody, and welcome to the part 8 of the Arduboy Dev stream. We are still trying to implement our Rick Arduros game on Arduboy. Welcome back, and between this stream and the previous one, I still worked a little bit on the code, on the animation. So I will show you first. I will show you what I've done. I've done that because actually it's a kind of repetitive work. It was the same kind of work that what we did on the chapter 7. So I thought it was not really interesting to show you again the same thing. So I've done it offline, and I will just quickly show you what I've done, the result, and then we will move on to maybe try to manage all these items that we have created in chapter 7. So what I've done first on the stat rate, like I told you before, I was quite not so happy with the rendering of the stat rate, so I thought maybe I can do something a bit better. So that's why I've worked on it. First of all, I have adjust the animation itself. Before it was like an empty star, shiny star, and now I just make it full star. You can notice that the two last frame are the same. So you may think it's a bit of waste of memory. Actually, it is. But that's a nice way to also do a different pace in the animation, because now it will, if you constantly play this at the same speed, then you will have this one, then this frame will be play like 1, 2, and 3, and because this animation is play in ping pong mode, so the big star will be will be on screen 3 times compared to the other ones, so will be longer on screen. So it also give a more like and then stay on for a long time and then go back. So it also give a different feeling. I could obviously have done it differently, like in code, like waiting more time for the last frame before going backward. But I'm not sure if implementing that code may also take more than 5 bytes, because basically this frame is just 5 bytes in memory, so 5 char. So maybe adding more code will maybe even be bigger than just doubling the frame, duplicating the frame. So anyway, I leave it like that, and I'm quite happy with the result. I also changed the CPP, so obviously the data change. So on the header file, I now change the post time to, well, I speed up the animation. I changed the post time from a fixed one to a random one, actually. So now I have a minimum and maximum post time, and then here you can see on the CPP, here I just do random between the minimum and the max. So now instead of playing the star one time and wait for a certain period and play it again, it's like playing a star, then wait a certain amount of time between min and max and play another one. So it adds more randomness, and I think the result is even better. So I changed the fixed variable here by this, which is now a random one. Another thing I change is the position of the star. So I briefly mentioned it in episode 7. I said, oh, maybe we can just make the shiny star all around the statuette instead of everywhere inside it. And that's what I did here. So first I choose the Y, and if the Y is the top, like the top head of the statuette, like if my head is a statuette, then if the random give me the top, then it's okay. I can choose a random value for the X, wherever you want here on that line. Otherwise, if the Y is inside the head, just here, then in that time I only can choose either this X or this X. So just the two. That's why I do a random between 0 and 1, or 0 to, this is exclusive, this value. So if it's 0, I choose that side, otherwise I choose the other side. And then we have the shiny star all around the statuette. Yeah, that's it. What I've done on the statuette, nothing else. So can show you the result. So now it looks like that. As you can see, the shiny star is blinking just all around the statuette, and the time in between two stars is random. So yeah, I prefer this rendering. I think it's quite cool. All right. So that was my first change, first improvement on statuette. Then I also, the next change, I also implemented the dynamite. So this was the third item that I've created the animation for. So for the dynamite, so obviously I added the class, and first the sparks. So the spark animation, I changed it also a little bit. I just make it more constrained, more smooth. I thought that the spark were going too far away from the dynamite, so it was difficult to read the spark. So I just make it less wide, I would say. It's still 5 char on the width. The width of the sprite is still 5 pixels, but I just spread maybe a little less, or maybe a bit slower. Actually, the beginning didn't change, only the end changed. So that's the first thing I did. Then I also did, so obviously just change the sprite in the sprite data. And then on the header file, so just created the header file. So I have 3 animation speed. I'm not sure, maybe I can show you on the main screen, maybe it's a bit better. So because you have syntax coloring. So we have the dynamite animation speed, we have the explosion animation speed, so the explosion part, and we have the sparks animation speed, so 3 speed. Okay, it's very similar to the other item. And then we have the dynamite anim frame ID and the sparks frame ID. So yeah, nothing fancy. These 2 IDs start with -1, and I've created a light up function that just set it to 0. And when it's set to 0, then it will start the dynamite. So this function should be called when the player places a new dynamite on screen. On the CPP side, so we can just start with the draw, nothing fancy. Like I just said, if the dynamite ID is greater than -1, then I draw it. If the spark is greater than ID is greater than -1, I draw it. And then this is really simple: X, Y, the sprite width, etc. I draw it in white. The sparks, I still draw it in invert mode, doesn't change. This, you may find it a bit strange and a bit of a hack. It is actually a kind of hack. Basically, it is just to make the animation a bit nicer. If you look at the animation, then first it's the fuse start to consume here, then it consume there. So basically the sparks, and the sparks is also like a five pixels width. So the spark center is here at the beginning. So you can say, okay, at the beginning I just want to draw it here, and the second frame I also want to draw it here, but the next frame I want to move 1 pixel to the right, and maybe the next frame I want to, well, here, okay, so these two should be 0, then here and here I want to move 1, here I want to move 2 maybe, and here I want to move 1, 2, and 3 probably, and here 3. But so basically you can see that this is 0, 0, this could be 1, 1, this could be 2, 2. So yeah, for doing this kind of shift, I didn't want to reuse a variable because I want to save as much byte as possible. By the way, if you look here, you know, last time I compiled it, we are at 47% of the memory use. So we almost had at half of the memory. So every byte, every char is precious. You don't want to waste them. I know that. You may say, okay, that's premature optimization, but when you deal with Arduboy, this is something you have to fight for every minute. I mean, if you want to make a very polished game, you really have to fight very hard for the memory space, because obviously the space is very limited. For sure, you can make a very easy game without taking care too much of the memory. But if you want to have something very polished, then for sure you need to fight for every byte. And we will have a lot of optimization to do later, don't worry, but there is way to get more memory here. Of course, the MapData is not optimized yet, and even the Arduboy class is quite heavy in my opinion. So I will not optimize it now, but maybe at the end when we will reach like 80%, 90% of the memory, we may go to the Arduboy class and rewrite it and remove everything we don't need. But I don't know exactly what I will need and what I will not, what I don't need yet. Just think about the logo of the Arduboy. It's nice if your game can have the logo, but this logo is taking a lot of char actually. So yeah, the Arduboy memory for the program is very small, so we have to fight for every byte. Anyway, what I was saying. If I go back to here, yeah. So basically, to save this, I didn't want to add in one more variable to just shift the spark. So I basically reuse the frame ID of the dynamite, like it's the frame 0, frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, frame 5. And basically, I divide this by 2, just like if it's 0, 1, I shift 0. If it's 1 or 2, I shift 1. If it's 2 and 3, 4 and 5, I divide by 2. I shift 2. So yeah, that's this hack here. I just reuse the dynamite ID and I shift it 1. So it means divided by 2 to just shift the sparks of the fuse. So it's just a little hack. I could remove it. Maybe the animation will not look so great, but yeah, it's just a little hack. Anyway, And then the logic about the dynamite is like that. Of course, the frame ID should be at least 0. The dynamite should be alive, should be started, right? If it's started, then the animation is in 2 parts, less than 6 or more than 6. I could have created a variable for that, but okay, that's fine. I just leave it like that. One little hard-coded value in the code. If it's less than 5, then this is the fuse consuming part, right? This is this one. This is frame number 6 here. And from frame number 6, this is the explosion. By the way, I'm not sure if I will keep the explosion in the dynamite, because I feel maybe the explosion is a bit too small. Maybe we need a bigger explosion. I'm not sure, we will see it later, but for now it's like that. So if we are in consuming fuse, that's fine. We have the dynamite anim speed here to increase it, and we have the spark anim speed to increase it. We modulo it because the sparks obviously is looping much more time. But here I don't need to loop it because the animation will be played only once, and then once it's played, it's stopped. So basically, I don't need to have a modulo here. Then, if we are in the explosion part, we should stop the spark, so it becomes -1. Then we increase again the frame for the explosion. And if we reach the end of the explosion, then we stop the animation. That's it. So yeah, this is the dynamite, and I quickly, for testing, I just quickly yeah, in the draw, still in the draw for debug code. If I press the button A, I just light up my dynamite. Okay, so here is the result. I'm sure that's what you want to see. So I press the button A, and boom, press it again. Yeah, here it is. So fuse. So I think the timing is quite good. It's like 1, 2, 3, or almost 3 or 2.5 seconds. So on the gameplay wise, it's I think it's the correct timing. It's like up, I press it, I can move it away, and boom. Yeah, that's it. The last thing I've done outside of the stream is here. I just in the project, I just create a folder to put all the item inside, just to organize a little bit the code. This is only in the project file, so on your hard drive, all the files are still on in the same folder. This is, in my opinion, a limitation from the Arduino software. So I didn't succeed to make it work with a folder tree in the Arduino, but I don't care, because here in my project I can clearly organize the files, and yeah, maybe later I will create more folder to organize the files. All right, so that's it. That's what I've done. So now we have we have those items. Obviously, I need to delete all this debug draw code and delete all this, and that's what I propose to do, is to have a proper way of handling the items in the game. And I think so. To do that, I think we should have an array of items. This array of item will be probably generated by our level editor, because as I said that before, I also plan to do a level editor along with the map data, of course, which is here. And yeah, the level editor can just instantiate all the items into this array, and the map manager can draw these items, iterate on the array to draw them. Or maybe specifically not draw all of them, but just draw the one that are on the current screen, so inside the current camera. So yeah, I propose you to do that for now, and that's why I created the base class item, is to be able to do that. After that, what we may do also is try to start working a little bit on the collision. So that means make the player die if it touch the spikes, for example. That we can try to do. Not sure if we will have time to finish that today, but that's maybe what we will try to do. All right, so the array of items. So I want to scope it into the namespace of the map manager. I think it belongs to the map manager. However, if I just put it here, and if we need to generate it with the editor, that could become messy when you're bringing back, because, okay. So what we can do, because it's a namespace, we can just put that in a separated file. That will be a bit like the sprite data, you know. We could have the map data. So yeah, I think I will just do that. We'll add a new file. Okay, I probably need a header file. Okay, so just copy this. So I call it MapData, and this file, I mean the CPP, may be generated by the level editor. So I said it's a namespace. Okay, map manager. So we could have also name it map data, but since it's mainly the map manager that will handle the map data, so just to make the code inside the map manager a bit light to write, I mean, it doesn't impact the compiler. Maybe we can keep it in the same namespace. Okay, let me save this. So I call it map data.h. All right, and I will add in the CPP. So this file, I'm not sure if it's generated, but maybe it will be generated. Contains all the level data. We will change the comment if we generate this file later. All right, let's save it. Map data CPP. All right, and then I will just create a new folder, like map manager. All right, and then I can move these two, and the map data, I can add them, add files, map data. Okay. All right, so then I group the map information. Okay, so first thing, I will also move this big ugly declaration of the level to the map data. Didn't copy it, sorry. What happened? I can, oh yeah, okay. Let's recopy it, sorry. All right, MapData. It doesn't want to pass. What happened? I don't know. All right. Map manager. I will scope this. I'll rename it a little bit. And at the extend, okay. All the sprites ID of the full level, and then we will also have our all the items in the level. So it will be item, and it will be just an array of items that we also put in program. Okay, and I can declare it here. It should not be const actually, because the items will be modified during the gameplay. And of course I can forward declare the item, or I can include it. I should give a different name, of course. Let's call them items. Okay, here is items. And I will bring back the one that are in the map manager. So I can put the include here. Statuette. Dynamite. Just temporary, for sure. I don't need the input here. Let's keep the input here for now, even if I will need to change this code soon. All right, so I think I need to have a pointer because all this class doesn't have the same size. So I cannot just write it like this. Let's fix something else for now. Where's my level? I think it's only here. Yep, match case. Right, so we just put capital L. It's the same scope, so it should be okay. This one I can just disable it for now. And so should we make should I make a new? If I make a new, all of them will be in memory, which may be okay. Global variable 53%. Otherwise I need to declare them global here and then reference them here in the array. For the I'm thinking about the editor. It's not a big deal. Because this doesn't compile, quite sure. Let's try, because they are not the same size. So what is not declare? Map manager is not declare. Yeah, I didn't include it. Okay, so here include MapData.h, and I think this also need to be declared in the MapData. So what do we have? Map manager level in mapdata.h. I didn't include MapData. Yeah. So level program where external constant sign char. What did I do wrong? Spray data, okay. Yeah, I need to remove the program keyword. Okay, so I remove it here. So what do we have? Up level. Explicit qualification in declaration of invalid abstract type item for items. Okay. Because the following virtual function appear within. Okay. So because we have a virtual function, and that's why I cannot instantiate. So it's exactly what I said. We could have a pointer on it, but not instance of it. So that's fine. Let's put a pointer on it. And then here let's put a pointer on it. But okay, just make sure that it compiles without it first. So I remove it for now. Let's fix the other bugs first, the other compilation error first. So, okay, what do we have? Explicit qualification declaration map manager level. Yes. So, what you don't like? Extend constant sign char map manager level. Oh yeah, that should not be. Right, yep. I will remove it here also. And did I? Okay. So sprite data has not been declared. I need sprite data in MapData. Okay, that's fine. Let's include. Oops. And MapData expected this token. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so now I should compile. Yeah, so like I said, now we want our pointer of array of pointer on items. So let's move them back here. Declaration of if is the instance of all the items. So I think those items should be in memory, not in program, because we want to modify them. But this array can be in program because probably the array will not change. Well, it depends. If we want to change the array, then we should not put it in program. But so yeah, let's still have our debug code for now. So sorry, I re-add what we had before. And start that and dynamite. All right, and then we can have hopefully take the address of all of them. SD. So I mean the level editor can just generate generic name like item 1, item 2, item 3, and then this array will be all the item 1, 2, 3. That's okay, but we'll see that later. All right, this is too much. All right, does it compile this? Probably not, because it's dynamic. Okay, should have declare inside map manager. Yeah, it's not declared yet, sorry. Let's declare it. So must be const in order to put into read-only section. Yep, yeah, of course, yeah. That's the issue. So okay, or array also cannot be const, cannot be in program. So what about that? Yep, okay, that works. And we use 53% of the memory so far. Actually, we can use quite a lot of the RAM, the memory, for that, because I think in that games I don't plan to have to use a lot of memory. So I don't know if you know that or not, but on the Arduboy class, actually the Arduboy class use almost half of the memory for the buffer, for the screen buffer. So it uses the screen buffer, and when you draw bitmap, for example, this function draw bitmap will draw in that buffer in RAM, and then when you say to Arduboy, okay, now draw it, it just draw that buffer to the screen. So basically half of the memory available on the Arduboy is already used by the frame buffer, and we have another half for other variables. So yeah, I think in that games variables like all the items, all the dynamic items, all the enemies, the AI, the characters could be in the RAM. I think that should be fine, and all the static data can be in the program for sure. So we have to balance all this stuff. In my Lemmings project, actually, I use a lot of the remaining memory, the RAM memory. I use a lot of them in for storing the modification of the map that the lemmings are doing, like when the lemmings is digging a tunnel or building a stairs. These are the information that was stored in the RAM, and I needed a lot of that to be able to modify a lot the whole frame buffer. But here it's not the case, so should be okay. All right. So next, I think we can iterate on this item array to update it now and see if we still have our items drawn. Okay, so let's remove it from here. Yeah, let's leave it. Okay, I'll just remove that for now. We can update them into the update function of the map manager. So okay. Okay, zero. Okay. Maybe I will just create a constant value for this. Um, cast int item nums item count should be size of this. This is pointer. Maybe I need to divide by 2. Not sure what the size of was giving me. Let's try like this. So the map manager CPP. Okay, and then it's pointer, so should be like this, I guess. Okay, does it compile? Invalid application of size of incomplete type. No, it's not incomplete. Come on, it's not incomplete. It's a pointer. Okay. He doesn't know the size here. Compiler is not that smart. You should know the size from here. Actually, can I? Okay, if I just do it like that. If I do it like this, does it work? It will tell me it's incomplete also. Didn't save it, sorry. Yeah, told me it's incomplete. Yeah. Compiler, help me. If I write it here, I guess it should not complain. It should not complain. Suggested alternatives. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Was not declared. Sorry. I mean this one. Okay, so this one is not is not complaining. All right. Just um, I just think about one thing is like my wife is watching TV right now, so maybe there is some music, and I don't want this video to be shut down for copyright infringement. So let me pause the stream for a while. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, I think I will stop the stream now because obviously with the TV disturbance. I will probably fix this like the item, but this is the idea is to iterate here, like I said, and update all the items, and then yeah, we may after that be able to add any kind of items in our items array and update them differently. So, thank you for watching this 8 part, and I'll see you in the next stream, maybe hopefully without too much noise. Thank you, and bye bye.